Okay, my friends. Here we go, my friends. One more time. Why stop a good thing when we're just getting warmed up? It's the David and Vivica show with your guest host Lou Martin. And this is week, I don't know, 7 or something like this. It's a joy. I love and adore both these people. They're dear friends. They're amazing teachers. And we're going to talk about their upcoming workshop, which is tomorrow, Beyond Death and Dying. Pretty close to that, I think.
No, it's not pretty close. That's it.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't have it on my screen yet. So, yes. So, my friends, welcome and take it away. What's happening today? What would we like to talk about?
What we'll talk about is what I mentioned before we started.
Yes.
We have absolutely no idea what we're going to talk about. So we're just going to be spontaneous.
Excellent. Excellent.
Which is usually, to a large degree, what happens every week anyway.
Yes. Yes.
We start talking and all of a sudden, information starts flowing through.
Yes, absolutely.
And we're just following the flow. So this is what we always do with you here. So it's always so beautiful experience. Share our hearts with you and be one. One heart.
It's really difficult to share heart with you, Lou.
You be one heart.
I'm tough, David. Ask anyone. Yeah, fun, wonderful. I'm so grateful for your time, my friends, and you're just a delight. Well, I'm just going to share a little bit of your workshop, and then we can dovetail back to wherever we want to go. Tomorrow, I will be there, Beyond Death and Dying, Transcending Human Limitations, with our guests here, Viivika, Sophia, and David Maria. It is 9 a.m. Pacific and 6 p.m. Central European Time. Hello, beautiful souls. In this class, we will change the perspective on what is actually the transformative force that we call death. Here we go. The more we understand the process of death and rebirth, which are integral parts of resurrection, good, I have things to share about that and ask about that. The more we understand what is happening within ourselves and the outer world, we understand the decay of the old. Death is not the end, yet it is a new beginning. So, we start there for kitty chat?
Sure.
Okay.
So it's important to realize that we're already dead.
Yeah, that's sobering.
The reality of who we are is that we are spirit.
Right.
We're not physical. We project into physical.
Right.
Completely different. We're already in spirit. We always have been. That's who we are.
Yes, spirits in the material world, as the song goes. Yeah.
So.
And from perspective of spirit, there you can see and feel which part of you, for example, already like not existing, but we can still hold on of these parts. We can still perceive this as ourselves, but it's literally already dead. It doesn't exist, and sometimes causes pain and suffering when we're trying to hold on for something that not exists.
Sure.
And at the same time, we not give space to our soul to integrate and the body within our physical body with our obedience. So this can cause this resistance within us, can cause tension and pressure in ourselves, and we can perceive that this as physical pain also when we are resistant to that, to release.
Right.
And to perceive this new light.
Beautiful.
So,
Okay. Yeah, let me just jump in one. So this paragraph jumps out at me, David. Our ascension is identical to many near-death experiences. That is absolutely true. Through which we experience the destructive. This is what you're saying. The destructive transformative power from a different perspective. During the ascension process, this destructive power is truly a transformative source, which removes the veils through which we have experienced ourselves and various realities.
The essence of that is that we're just remembering who we are.
Right, right.
And the reality of this is that we are Source, and as Source, as you've heard many times from many others,
Yeah,
too numerous to mention,
yeah. One or two. Yeah,
we've never been born. We've never been born, and therefore we will never die.
right, right.
We are Source. We are the entirety of this creation. And it is both an illusion and a dream, and it is also very real at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And this is what we can call dead process, but this is releasing of this untruth about ourselves. And it includes all this, what we believe that we are, and all these different belief systems, all these fears and outer sources of love and security, and we're embodying the truth, who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And going beyond of this, like all these boxes that we held in our consciousness, and try to put everything that we experienced to a certain box that, yes, this is familiar, this is safe, this is I know. Now we're going outside of that. There is nothing that our human mind can hold on, or and it's sometimes can feel to our human mind like, oh, we're losing our mind. It's so outside of everything that I ever experienced, and this is exactly what's happening. We are losing our human mind that, holding on these old boxes and these old constructions, and this expansion is sometimes when we feel that expansion in our heart, and our heart are literally ascending, and when we are releasing more and more all this limitation that we had, and then our mind also, and we're connecting with our old soul and with monad, and when I started to feel that, it was even a little bit scary, because it's really feel that now that's it, you're not exist anymore. You really not exist. There's nothing. There is nothingness. There is not, and you dissolving, and again and again and again and again, layer by layer, and then you realize that you still are.
Right.
You still are, but this is what you thought you are.
Right. Yes, that's great. That's great. I mean, of course, I'm studying the Course in Miracles, which is absolutely, everything we're talking about here. That love is what's real, that love is eternal, that pain and fear and death are the illusions, and we're that little free will that's bouncing back and forth between what we believe and what we desire and imagine and expect. And the more we surrender, as this is your next sentence here, the moment we truly surrender to the power of death's transformation, we experience our true essence without filters. This is accompanied by an indescribable feeling of freedom and love, which are expressions of our true being. Right, so.
Throw joy in there too.
Yes, a little joy for everyone. Why not?
Yeah, it's immense freedom. It feels so light, and our body feels so light, and all our beingness feels so light. And there is, when you feel that your true essence, there is like no attachment. There is silence, but it's not emptiness. There is always this flow of different incredible different energies. It's a constant flow, and you feel these different sounds and light, but same time when you look into world, when you look into outer world, you can perceive that as it is, without no filters, without no judgment, without no thoughts. Because thoughts also related to our human mind that produce thoughts, and they're coming from mental body and trying to put everything into boxes. And instead that we're thinking something, we're feeling this knowingness.
Mm-hmm.
But the knowingness is without words.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
It's just knowingness, and you perceive these energies and information. And later on, of course, you can also translate that into human language, but it's not necessary. You can just be with that.
Mm-hmm.
Be that.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
It's really different beingness.
Yeah. We were talking about, thank you, Viivika. We were talking about David, your photograph, and describing the experience of trying to walk down this beautifully painted sidewalk.
It's not painted, Lou. Those are tiles.
Okay. Yeah. A very colorful sidewalk of abstract waves. Yeah.
And it's very wide. There were actually the lane that you see in that picture. There were 3 lanes like that.
Oh.
And it's multiple football fields or football pitches.
Right. And how that in your experience of multidimensionality that both of you are receiving and living in nearly constantly, I suppose, how challenging that is to still be in 3D and do things like walk down a sidewalk that's very abstractly designed, etc.
Walk down a sidewalk that is a wave.
Right.
It's not just abstract, it is a wave.
Yeah.
And I'm walking at every step that I'm taking, even though I know the ground is level.
Yeah.
It's not. So
it's a thing.
Because every creation has these energy layers. And when you're starting to perceive this realities from inside out, you're starting to perceive this true expression of this creation, and there is different layers, and it's really feels like it's not flat anymore.
Right.
And when I started to feel and see time to time realities as holographic construction, the same with that, it doesn't look at all as we perceive these realities with human eyes. There is no colors within these holographic constructions, and faces are different, and trees, they're like look more like flat. and water, it was like more like silver paper, really shiny, but more like solid like.
Okay.
And when I very first time in one session years ago, I saw that, and this feeling of that, oh, it's all illusion, and there is only one.
Right.
And after I all day long I felt that, and it was such a freedom, you not try to be anybody else than just you are, and not trying to like I don't know how it's in English now. I feel such emptiness in my head.
I experience that all the time.
You don't try to I really don't know how it's in English now. It's just gone.
Okay, honey, that's fine.
You don't, it's such a level of freedom when you meet other people and you are just who you are, and you don't try to be anybody else that please people. Oh, please people. Now it's
There it is. Okay.
with a little delay.
Fine. You got there. You got there. People pleaser. Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes it's happening, especially now when it's so much this recalibration of brain happening, and I try to translate it from my mother language into English, and sometimes there's no words.
Sure. I think translating anything from one language to another is extremely mentally taxing and challenging.
And then when I felt it all day long, and it was so beautiful and so free to communicate with people, and then my human self came back, and there was again these boxes, and oh, can I say that? Can I do that? Oh, what other people think about me?
Right.
And then now we're releasing them all, so. Yeah. There is just the freedom to be our authentic self.
In the collective, within the collective, all we're talking about is various people talking about the boxes they have put their consciousness or their perceptions into.
Right.
This is what I believe, and it's therefore it must be true for you.
Right.
Because this is how I see it.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, all that's up in the air now. All that's changing very quickly.
Being able to release all of the conceptions,
right,
all of the beliefs, and whether they're released or whether they're just dissolved or whether they are taken away, it all amounts to the same thing, really and truly. We're just dissolved, and yet here we are. We still are. Creation still is.
Right.
Just you're not looking at it through the filter of your particular boxes.
Yeah.
And no one is able to project their boxes and make you go into them.
Yes. Brilliant.
This is what the expression of we're in the world, but we're not of it.
Right. The paradox.
It's being able to perceive what is without your own personal filters.
Right.
You've heard me use this expression or this example many times. I know that can you go up to a tree and just be and experience the treeness of that being?
Yeah.
Or do you remember school and this tree is a beech or an oak or a fir tree or a redwood or whatever it is, and it could be used, we can make this out of it or that out of it, or we can use it this way, rather than just experiencing this incredible being.
Yes.
As it is.
Yeah. Krishnamurti used to use that same example, who was really the first spiritual teacher that I started studying. I got a chance to meditate with him and another group of people at 16 in Ojai there, Dave. And I'd never heard of him and knew nothing about him. And, that was a powerful experience to sit with this very wise and, amazing man. But having read his work later in college, I read several of his books, and it's the essence of what you're describing there, that, things are what they are. And we don't need to project our expectations and identities onto them if we'll, come to them.
This is what I meant when I also shared about how when you start to perceive this world from inside out, and the human mind and human thoughts, they're related to our ego and our human self. And when you just feel this pure beingness, there is no thoughts, there is this knowingness. And when you meet these beautiful beings whoever they are, this beautiful, what we're calling trees, you don't give them, you don't label them anymore. You just feel them. You perceive this purity of their true self without any labeling. You don't put into this, mind boxes that, yeah, this is this kind of tree. I know this tree.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Right.
You know maybe the name that we
Yes.
put or how we labeled this tree, but you don't know this being who you met right now, because every tree is also unique creation.
Of course.
Every tree, every being is unique. So
Yes.
then you it's much wider experience, and then the pure unity that you can experience when you start to perceive the world in this way from inside out.
Yeah. Beautiful. I absolutely know that. That's, the map is not the territory. The description of something is not the experience of it. And of course, the heart knows what the mind struggles to believe, So in this rebalancing time of the divine feminine, we're all coming out of our ego and attachments and expectations, like the near-death experience, like ascension, as you're saying here. It throws us back into ourself. And the surrender process, the death process, the dying process, the letting go, all of that creates space for us to come back to the authentic, deeper, true self, hopefully with, as you say, with love and joy and freedom. The joke I always laugh at, guys, is that in all the readings and seeing people talk about their near-death experiences, nobody ever wants to come back. They absolutely want to stay there, to a person. But obviously we do come back. Yeah.
I did.
You wanted to come back. Okay.
I've died 10 times.
It wasn't in my notes today. No, I'm glad for a refresher. I hadn't heard that for a while.
Not only 10. You
Yeah.
so many
How are you
times.
trying? Are you, Dave? Only 10? Yeah. That's amazing. No, talk about that.
Most of it was related to COVID.
Okay.
When I was in Kenya, but there was also a time a year before I went to Kenya with COVID.
Right.
And I've been aware all of my life that there was this big collar like a yoke around my shoulders, around my neck.
Okay.
And I also had the understanding that when I chose to come into incarnation, that I put it there.
Okay.
That was my doing.
Wow.
And it was meant to do one thing, and that was to keep me here.
Okay. Stay in the body.
Because I probably would have just left the body and just gone off and disappeared.
Right.
I was driving with a friend. We were actually on our way to have sushi.
One of my favorite occupations.
And one of my favorite things to do. And
yeah.
I started becoming really uncomfortable. The land that we were driving over has a lot of underground springs. Okay. And we would drive over one of them and I would feel it and then get a really queasy feeling in my body. Then we'd drive off of it and I'd relax a little bit, and then it just started happening more and more. And then at the side of the road in Viivika, California,
okay.
I finally just had to say, pull over, I can't do this. I'm leaving. And they watched me literally leave.
Wow, man.
As that yoke dissolved.
My God.
And in that moment, not only all 12 of the seers from Kenya, but also Mount Kiranaga herself appeared.
Wow.
Not doing anything, just watching. They were just observing to see what I was going to do.
Wow. Amazing.
And I literally made the choice. No, I'm not ready to go. There's much left
Okay.
for this experience, this incarnation. And my friend's description, not mine, my friend's description is, I watched you literally will yourself choose to come back into the body.
Huh?
So sometimes if you come back, you've made the choice to come back.
Of course.
That's no one else is going to make that for you.
Well,
you might meet a being that says it's not your time. That might happen, but it's always your choice. It's always every single one of our choices. And we did not eat sushi. It turned around and went home, and I spent the rest of the day laying on the floor. So.
No, that's an amazing story, my brother. Thank you for sharing that.
And all of the times in Kenya on COVID, there's a big disagreement among people that know me that were part of those experiences as to what was happening. Several of them were convinced that I was leaving, and they were holding on to me, saying, you can't leave yet, it's not your time. From my perspective, it was like, remember that I got COVID right after the induction that happened in Kenya, which removed the veils so that I could feel and experience everything. So from my experience, it's like, whoa, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I can go wherever I want. I can play. I can go play here. Wow, okay, I'm gone. And all of my friends are going, no, you're not, holding on to me. But I was enjoying myself. I'm quite certain that for the people that I was around, this was not necessarily a really fun experience for them.
Yeah, that can happen.
So I flatlined in the emergency room.
Right.
I'm sure that's not easy for most people to be able to experience, but I was in bliss. I was enjoying this.
Yeah, yeah.
And each time I came back.
Yeah. Well, you're the exception that proves the rule. Because honestly, I've heard many. That's a brilliant one. But usually people are pretty reluctant to get back in the body once they've been on the other side.
Yeah, I have a friend that was an acquaintance that was kicked in the head by their horse.
Wow.
And it literally crushed their skull.
Brutal.
And they were out in bliss, and their partner, their husband at the time, was shaking her and eventually got through to where she was and brought her back to her body. She was really pissed. She was really, really angry at him.
Yeah, it was a little more painful back in her body.
Why did you do that? No, she was in bliss where she was. She wanted, like you said, she wanted to stay.
Yeah.
It's a real joy not to have a preference, not to this is better, this is better. It's just to be in the flow.
Yeah.
If we're here, we're meant to be here. That's it.
No argument there.
And the same force, what we calling that, and when David describes his near-death experiences, we're going through that when we are ascending. So you don't need to leave to experience that. Of course, all experiences are different, and sometimes it is necessary to, as with David, it was so quick process for you, and you went through that. But through ascension process, we bringing all these different higher realities here through embodiment process. And this is all what people shared with who felt this beautiful energies of bliss and love, and you don't need to leave your body.
Right.
you becoming that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's opening within you
yeah. You're becoming
as
that.
you as
Yeah,
you yes, and you can feel that almost constantly, or the more and more you're opening up to your true essence, and the more deeper layers of your heart starting to open up, and you're starting to connect with our soul, and but this the energy of our soul, it's so different. It is this blissful, immense energy of love. So it is ascension process of dying and rebirth, resurrection, same time, transcending all limitations, removing veils.
yeah.
Dying to yourself in every single moment, and dying and resurrection, dying and rebirth are the same energy. They engender each other. You die, you resurrect. It happens in the same moment.
This is why I said to David that only 10 times, because we're dying constantly.
A little larger. Okay.
60,000 already today.
Very good.
I personally going through really deep physical dying process right now, and same time I also feeling this transcendental energies, and this my true self, but I feel also how I'm dissolving, and David, you can talk from yourself.
Every single day, I begin the day by telling her, I look forward to meeting who you've become now.
Me too.
Because
Who you become.
it is literally brand new every time.
Okay. Wow. Amazing. Here, this jumped out at me as well. This is wonderful. Negative labels, fearlessness, narrow perspective, and response to its transformative power can cause suffering, and is one of the reasons why it is a difficult force. Resistance to this power that has always been a part of us, creating an inner struggle and disharmony. Yeah. The price of freedom is facing and releasing our fears. Yeah.
And it's such a joy to realize that our fears are just ghosts, they're just phantoms.
Right.
And when you go into them, when you really truly go into them and feel them and experience what they are,
right.
They're like smoke, they just dissolve. And they release what has been waiting to be released so that we can feel who we really are.
Yeah.
And it's when we are resisting to this, it's happening simultaneously. This releasing and this healing, and we integrating these new energies. And when we are in resistance, we are resisting to our healing process. And what's happening right now in collective, there is this, we can call it also like in some level healing crisis.
Yes, I've said this for years.
When people, they are not conscious what's happening within them, and these new energies, they're releasing this collective miasm and personal, and the energy that have been released, you feel that, but you don't know what it is, and sometimes people reacting, or very often they're reacting to this energy, and we can react to certain people because this energy was, for example, connect to certain people,
right.
And this miasm and this energetic connection, we hold them with many people, not only us. And when we feel that, and many people, for example, from our family or our friends, they are all played different roles with us through many lifetimes, and we had really deep emotional connection with them. And when this miasm starting to dissolve and we feel these energies, it can create in some level conflict between people, because they don't really understand that this is only this energy that's releasing.
Yeah.
And they feel this old grief and sometimes even rage and all this starting to come up to dissolve.
Yeah.
And the more we are conscious and we knew what it is, we don't take it anymore personally, and we can still hold this neutral place and just witness these energies, feel them.
Right.
And through compassion and forgiveness, release them.
Yes.
And I don't, the previous statement that I said about when we go into our fears, yada, yada, and release everything, I don't wish to sound glib. I don't wish to make slight or light of the degree of difficulty that any one person may have when they go through, because it's unique and different to each one of us.
Yeah.
Some of us go through this process easily. Some people go through it and it's more difficult. I don't wish to make slight of anybody's pain as they walk through this, because sometimes it's not an easy process. But when it's not easy, that's because we're holding on. Mm-hmm. And this is why we've revisited at another level this class in Beyond Death and Dying, is to be able to share through the experiences that we have gone through, and not just share conceptually, but share the energy
Right.
that happened within both of us as we walk through this, because we walk through this in different stages.
Right.
There is a tremendous peace and ease and bliss and joy that comes on the other side of all of that release. And if through this class we can help ease anybody's journey, that's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. Well, you've definitely helped mine many times, both of you.
Because the journey is going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
That's why we're all here now. That's the journey now.
Yeah.
And it's in classes we holding this beautiful space, this temple place, space of unity and love, and you can release and heal these old wounds and release these energies with much more ease and grace.
Yes.
And this class is deeply connected with previous class, what we did about miasm, releasing collective and personal miasm. So we're just going all the time deeper and deeper and opening up deeper levels of our consciousness.
Yeah.
Together as one. So, and same time feeling this beautiful new energy in our true beingness, and same time also feeling all what we dissolving, all this old creation.
Yes.
And we're feeling also this original intention of Source. When this old creation is dissolving, we're starting to feel more and more this original light, original intention of Source.
Mm.
Because every creation holds also this original light, original intention of Source, even when it's distorted.
Mhm.
And when we're dissolving, that's this, as David also told, that this light will be released, and we feel that. And there is this, we also, this moment we understand the gift that have been held in this creation, even when it is distorted. And we understand the deep meaning of this lesson. And this is the moment when this light like have been released, and we understand that why we experienced that,
Oh, that's deep.
why we created that.
Yeah, that's very important.
The remembrance, the original intention, you feel yourself as source, and okay, this is why I experienced this
Yes.
lesson.
Yeah, so that really rings for me, Viivika, because like on the call this morning with the Course in Miracles group, the triggers are the treasures is one of my little quotes in response to the Course. And it's like, this is happening for a reason, as we have this expanded sense of infinite possibility and, you know, unconditional love and forgiveness and acceptance and faith and courage and surrender and all these things, we can let go of the past, the illusions of separation, and be, in the holy instant, be fully present, be fully available, have the courage to surrender completely. And again, guys, you're both, uh, you're just, you're a few chapters ahead of me in this story, to be sure. But it's always just such a reassurance, I guess is the word I want to use, and so, yeah, it's just simply reassuring, that there is a path, that you're walking it, in your own way, and you're sharing it so generously and so beautifully with all of us. So I just want to say thank you again for, the lives that you've chosen to live in this lifetime, and your commitment to stay in the body while all the pots are boiling on the stove, Well, yeah. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
There's always going to be somebody that's a little farther along in the path than who any of us are. That this is just a progression, that there's just one of us here, and we wake up as we wake up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's incredibly beautiful to watch, even when it doesn't look to be very fun.
Yeah. 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 That's when it's really important to be present, isn't it?
And when you say that stay in the body, then we need to ask also which body you choose.
I didn't
Because
know there was a choice.
we choose to not stay in this body.
Okay. New and improved version. Yes. Yes. Well, and may I also share with you, Vivica, that's beautiful, hon. The work that I do with Patricia every week, and her prayers and meditations. This week is about, bringing more of the I am, just everything that you're talking about, just in different words, bringing more of the I am presence into the body. And of course, the violet flame, the month of May, and Wesak and Saint Germain and Mother Mary, they're all a part of the energy of the Ascended Master, teachings in this way. But very much about, to come back to death and dying and ascension, and how much they have in common, how identical they are, I suppose is a better way to say it. That we're releasing a lot of you using the word miasms, which is a great word, Viivika, to describe the darkness or the wounds or the contractions or resistance or unconsciousness. And does that seem a good interpretation? Is that fair? Miasms? How would you describe them?
How would we describe miasms?
Yeah.
A traumatic event that maybe individually and maybe generationally maybe within a familial lineage, like a matrilineal lineage, maybe within a patriarchal lineage, a male lineage, that is occurring not only has occurred maybe here, but in other lifetimes that are happening parallel and simultaneously to this one.
Right. Okay, good.
Those points of trauma, they cause a contraction.
Right.
Some traumas, which I know everybody can understand, are so severe when people experience them that they literally splinter their consciousness off. It's too much for the human being to remember, and so it literally fractures away.
Fragments, yeah.
If that's happened, it no longer can be felt. Therefore, you can't work with it. You can't experience it. So it continues to run your consciousness, maybe physically, emotionally, or mentally, it doesn't matter, maybe even spiritually, unconsciously below the surface. And if it's a multi-generational, if it's multi-lifetime, those create a momentum in our incarnational stream. And we've talked about this in other classes before.
Yeah.
And you know how it is, momentum will continue to move in the direction that it's moving unless it's acted upon by another force.
Right.
And that force in this case is love, and it's consciousness. It's bringing awareness to what it is, being able to release it at whatever level that we are able to work with it. It may be just releasing within this lifetime. It may be releasing within an incarnational stream that has reinforced the momentum that it's on. If it's working generationally within our ancestral lines, whether that's male and female or individual, now we're working with other generations at the same time. And so it's just releasing at really, really deep levels. And sometimes we have the privilege of working within the collective instead of just within our own fields.
Right.
And it's not something necessarily, my experience, I'm not going to speak for her. Sometimes it's not something that we choose to do. It just happens because it's time. It's ready. We're working with something that is arising within us. We're feeling it and allowing it to arise, and it ties in with something much bigger that is in the collective.
Right.
It just happens. It's not something that, for me, it's not something I set out to do. I usually don't like to do that.
Right.
And
Sorry, one
and
second.
we can also talk about this miasm in galactic level, because
Okay.
it depends.
Yes, please.
It depends of our soul journey. That some of us also working through that in galactic level and beyond that. So it's different. And every when we're talking about miasm, and then David really beautifully described the very essence of miasm, and I can describe that in more simple way, maybe, that every time when we choose separation, when we choose our ego, we created more and more this separation. And in every lifetime we had opportunity. It's like this turning point, and you can choose different direction. We felt this energy, we felt this miasm. Sometimes it related also some kind of event, and it's always opportunity to release this energy. But when we choose fear, we choose separation, we choose ego, it's just amplified. this miasm even more.
Right.
So, and now the more we, through the dying process, we're doing the same. Every time when we are faced with our fears, then we have opportunity to release them, and it's always it's always choice. Do you still believe this illusion, or you know who you truly are?
Right.
And you choose. And this is about this deep surrendering that we shared so many times, that we surrendering, it's not suffering, it's not something like that. It's only that we're choosing our soul, we're choosing love, and we have so many these choices and different lessons, like right now that we are facing. And every time when you feel fear, you know that it's not real.
Right.
It's not you. And when you choose whatever it is, when you choose these different expressions of love, as instead fear you choose compassion, instead fear you choose be more understanding, be more vulnerable, be more open, then you feel how this very essence of Divine Mother, the most powerful healing force,
Right.
starts to work through you. And it's of course start to reveal even more these places within you that you still like separating from yourself. And these places or these parts of you, if you think your body as your body holds all creation, and every time when you think or you're creating separation with your words or with your actions, when you're judging others, you're creating separation within yourself, because they are all part of you. There is no others, there is only one.
Right.
And every time when we saying like, yeah, I'm really love these people, but I don't like my neighbor, for example. I don't like.
Yes. I love
But
humanity.
whoever it
Like
is,
him.
or I don't like politicians or
Right,
whoever.
right.
You're creating separation within yourself. You're separating them. That this is good, this is bad, and it's still duality. You're playing in this old world the same game over and over.
Yeah. It's a very old game. You're saying it very well. Absolutely. I love humanity. It's just people I can't stand. That's
So in the same way that I was talking about the journey that each of us is on, not just her and I, but all of us
yes.
is that we have individual work to be able to do. The same work is also happening within collectives, whether that's nationalism,
Mm-hmm. Right.
the momentum of a country,
Right.
the momentum of a culture, the momentum of a religion, or should I say, the distortion of a country, the distortion of countries and cultures and collectives and religions. Those are all either coming up or going to be coming up. You look at the seeming chaos in the world, that's all, from my perspective, that's all a really good thing that it's arising, because now everybody has an opportunity to see underneath it, what is the truth here?
Yeah. Yeah.
And do I choose to be a part of a country or a culture because that's what we've always done? Or do I free myself and step out of it?
Yes.
And sorry.
Sorry, step out of the matrix.
Amen. Yeah. Yeah.
And every time when we choosing side that, oh, this is good, this is bad, we still part of this dualistic world. So it doesn't mean that we close our eyes and we don't have any discernment. Of course we do, and we're choosing our soul, we're choosing these heart-based creations. At the same time, we're not judging others.
Right.
They all is source. They can experience whatever they choose.
Yes.
And we really don't know why they're going through
Right.
what they're going through at the moment. So, and why they're making these choices.
Yes.
Many times we have been shown with David also that this is what our human mind automatically tries to put into box, that, oh, it's not good thing right now what's happening.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then it's revealed as his most precious gift, like, oh, it's differently something else what we thought.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, this is also Patricia's statement from Spirit about we have this the Wesak full moon on Monday, and that's been a big deal in my journey because of Mount Shasta, David. You know, and Joshua David Stone used to have some events up there back in the day, and I went to several of those. I don't know if you had a personal connection with him or any of those festivals, but they were quite powerful. But you know, that this Wesak full moon, Patricia is saying to come to your point, you know, that we're going to have experiences that are going to help us realize our unity and stop thinking this divide and conquer, you know, fearing and hating the other mentality. So we'll see, but it's things are changing at a furious pace, as we know.
Mother energies, Divine Mother is here, and she expresses herself through all open conduits that have resonance
Yes.
with her energy. And this is the most healing force and balancing force. You can imagine it's beautiful.
Yes. Great
So
point. Yeah.
she really calling all of us back into our hearts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had a many really beautiful dream about her and how this energy is expressing itself through open conduits, and how there has been so much infinite compassion and so much infinite love, and how she expressed and her wisdom, and it's undescribable.
Yeah.
And forgiveness, this infinite forgiveness.
Yeah.
Have been really beautiful.
That's brilliant. Let me just we're kind of coming down the home stretch. That was absolutely gorgeous. I'm looking at the website, the Eden Temple, and these are the notes for tomorrow's workshop. Release the core fear of death, which is our deepest delusion that we are separate from source. Expand beyond the limitations of the human mind and ego, which I promise you I do every time we do a journey together. Surrender and release attachments to our personal selves, including our identity. Check. Transforming grief into grace. That's beautifully put. Merge with the infinite, the eye of God, source, and embody the core truth of ourselves. And finally, you will receive according to your conscious ability. Surrender. So I think that's the icing on the cake, my friends. Yeah, that's just glorious. Thank you. Thank you. Will we leave it there for today?
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
There's still plenty of time to register if you wish to come.
Very good. Very good.
Just go to our website, www.theedentemple.com.
Perfect. Yep. Yep. Wonderful. Well, I will be there, and I encourage everyone who sees this to avail themselves of David and Viivika's amazing journey together. And I love you madly, and I will see you in person someday soon. And thank you.
Saturday.
Yes, well, I'll see you Saturday virtually, but in person, knocking on your door one fine day as well, we hope soon. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant, never mind.
I won't be over tomorrow, but I'm working on it. Yeah.
Somewhere I'm with you on Sunday.
Excellent. Excellent. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So much.
My pleasure. My pleasure, David. Grateful,
Many,
grateful.
many blessings and infinite gratitude.
Thank you. Thank you. You too. I'm not finding the stop recording, so I'm just going to exit here and say peace and blessings and all my love.
And see how wonderful it can happen when you have absolutely no idea what is
Oh,
going
yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the way, as we know. The way that can be named is not the true way. Absolutely. Blessings.
Blessings, Lou. Thank you.
Bye for now.